Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ngozi. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on that little notification bell so you never miss an upload. It's a family-based channel, so we talk about anything that's related to family. That means everybody really, because someone somewhere is from a family. Today I'm talking about an embarrassing moment. I always like to, alongside some of these topics, bring my story into it because that's where my experience comes from. And I've had many, embarrassing moments, shameful moments, but this one in particular has haunted me for years. It's stayed with me. I wouldn't say haunted, but it's really stayed with me because it was quite serious. So I had this group of friends. I think we're about 6 or 7. We just come off our teen years. We were young, we were hip, we were cool. And you know how hard it is to find a really good group of friends to hang out with. I did. And we were a really good group. Boys, girls, and we would go on trips together. We would, road trips together. We would go out to the West End. We would eat at different kind of restaurants, experiment with all the foods and drinks, and, but 2 of the 6 of these friends had sickle cell anemia. And I was really close to it, particularly one of them was a girl. She was almost my BFF, I would say. We were really close. I would spend the night at her house and so on and so forth. But anyway, on occasion, she would be terribly ill, and we would then choose to hang out at home in her house instead of out and about. And it so happened that I was in the group with them on this lovely day at home, watching a program or a video or a film, something. And we'd ordered in food and we were chatting away and, we were just having that lovely moment. And there was this crazy character in the film that we were watching. And he was like a psycho, he was really sinister, dark and, calculating. And he was really triggering us as we were watching. We would be talking at the screen and this man did something, and all of a sudden, in the moment, everyone sort of started saying something at the screen because of what he had done. Where I come from, it's okay for an individual to say to you, I'm a sickler, I have sickle cell. So we would refer to, in boarding school then, oh, that girl is a sickler, that boy is a sickler, be careful, blah, blah, blah. So that word was, floating around in my head a lot, even when I became, part of these group of friends because of their illnesses. And it was, most of the topics that we would be hitting on because someone would be admitted or an ambulance to take someone away. It was a constant thing. So that word was floating around in my head a lot. Now, in the moment that this guy did something on telly, what I meant to say was, this guy is completely sick. And we were all going at it at the telly. Instead of saying, this guy is sick, I said, this guy is a sickler. So yeah, I was stunned. I was mortified. I couldn't identify with what had just happened. I didn't believe it. I was in denial. And I just, buckled down and said, he's sick. He's just sick. And the more I kept saying sick, even though I'd gone past the first word I used, which was a mistake, it just felt like I was digging a hole. And to me, I felt that the room shifted. The energy in the room shifted. I can't say for a fact if that's the case, but that's how I felt. Did they hear me? I don't know. I didn't stop the room to investigate and say, did you hear me say something profoundly shocking? No, I didn't. They were carrying on, harping on at the telly, and I did feel in my heart someone heard me, but maybe no one, bothered to say anything about it because I pressed on with just saying this guy is sick, meaning he's a psycho. And I'm not speaking about the fact that, when someone pulls up in a fancy sports car, you say, oh my gosh, that's sick. No, I'm saying sick, psychopath, crazy, sinister, dark, calculating. That's what I meant to say at the telly, at this character. But instead, my brain handed me down sickler because that's been floating around when I meant to say sick. And then, I just tortured myself in front of a group of friends. So, what have I learned from this experience? Because I never talked about it. I never addressed it because I was shocked, stunned. I was just mortified by it. So I don't know if that's happened to you. You've been in a situation where instead of maybe doing something in a moment to fix the situation, you just lock down and you just can't do anything about it. And that could offend someone. because maybe they're expecting you to say sorry. Maybe when I left, I should have made a call and said, hey, did you hear what I said? I'm really sorry. Did I offend you? But then again, I'm thinking maybe they never heard me. So it was really complicated like that because no one said anything and we just carried on. And I thought to myself, I have to believe they didn't hear this. But what if they did? And if they did, say it was reversed and I was one of those people who had the situation and I heard it, I will be offended. I will be taken aback for a second. I will wonder. After everything has, come to an end and we've all said our goodbyes, I will think about it. So the problem was I just wanted to believe that no one heard it because no one addressed it, but it's not their responsibility to address it. It was shocking. It was shocking. Now, the way I feel about it now is I should have just stopped, been self-deprecating about it and said, oh my gosh, I put my foot in my mouth. That's not what I meant to say, but that's me being mature and I wasn't mature at the time and I just shoved it away, and that's what a young person would do, and that's not ideal. Looking back now, I've learned a few things. If a situation unravels like that, it's okay to understand that you can make a mistake and you can check in and say, did you hear me say anything awful? I didn't mean to say anything awful. I was trying to say X, but instead Y came out. I made a mistake and I'm sorry if I offended you. That would take a confident, mature individual to be able to do that. And I wasn't that individual at the time. I was young and I was in denial and I thought I was perfect and, whatever I do in the bathroom doesn't stink, right? So here I am now looking back and thinking this is what I would have done. And I think that is what anyone should do. Just visit the matter. The first thing I have learned from this experience is that I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but it's not indicative of who I am. I think that it's important that if someone does something wrong, you should judge them based on their history, and going forward, if it's a repeated, incident or a repeated behavior. I never repeated that behavior. It's not who I am. I was and I am loving and dedicated to whoever becomes a friend to me or I a friend to them. It's not what I do. It's not what I think at all. My mouth just went left. It was poorly, for goodness sake. So I've learned that I can make a mistake, and I now understand that it is important to maybe address it. If you have that mature mind, then you can address it and it will be okay. And if they're a good group of friends, or this individual you have a relationship with, is really in a relationship with you, they will understand and they will know that it's a mistake because they make mistakes too. The other thing is, what I've come away with from this experience is understanding that you can forgive yourself. You don't need to be too hard on yourself, and you don't need to take yourself too seriously. I felt perhaps I took myself too seriously. I couldn't possibly have said that and just hop over and carry on saying, oh, that guy's sick. Why would he do such a thing? Don't take yourself too seriously. Be self-deprecating. Address it. Make fun of yourself. Apologize. Remind yourself that this isn't your intention. It's not your intention. So don't beat yourself up. And if someone's decided this is who you are, then it's really unfortunate. It might be that they've wanted to believe a certain thing about you, and now they've had an opportunity to do that. So there really is nothing you can do, but you can apologize and you can make yourself clear if you are presented with a chance, or if you have the mind about you to address the issue. Yes. But again, as I say, an apology isn't what a verbal apology isn't what really holds a lot of water. It's what you do going forward. So that's why I say who you are going forward, who you've been, can help you and redeem you from a really horrible situation if you're not able to be vocal about your error or your mistake or your slip up. So there's that. So encourage yourself and remind yourself that, you are human and you've just made a mistake and it's not your intention. Thing is, it was not my intention. I didn't sit down and have a plan to say that. So I forgave myself, and I knew that that's not what I intended to do. And if I could work my way back in time, I would have a conversation about it. But like I said, what if they never heard me? Oh gosh, what if they never heard me? And now I've brought it to their attention. Let me know what you think in the comments down below about my experience. What's your experience been? How did you handle it? Did you have individuals who just took what you said took off with it and believed this is who you are and just marched on? Did you experience grace from someone who you offended mistakenly? Let me know in the comments down below and we can talk about it down there. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you have an amazing week. Remember, you're not perfect, and have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good night, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye.